Thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Serrao from Dallas Cowboy Training Camp. Now, so much to get to in the show today, including our interview with Jeff Fisher. We're going to find out how the Rams are doing in training camp. A little later, we are going to visit with former Dodger organist Nancy B. Heffley. She might be retired, but she's sure busy seeing her fans. And then we're going to go to Anaheim for the comeback story of the year. That's right, pitcher Tyler Skaggs is back on the mound. All that and so much more on Playing the Field. Don't go away. Now, the Dallas Cowboys have been sharing training camp between Southern Cal and Dallas since the 1970s, so we always like to come out and see what the big story is. Of course, this year, the question mark has been who will be Tony Romo's backup. And after the game with the Rams at the Coliseum last weekend, I think that Dak Prescott's got a pretty good shot. Now, the Cowboys' defense has been a little suspect in training camp, but these guys are working hard to get it right. Here's more from the players.
Just trying to come out, and get better, each and every day. We're missing some key guys on our defense, either it's due to injury or, suspended. We got guys coming back off injury, now. But, we're just trying to get better each and every day with the guys that we have in there and that's available to play.
Seems like with the system, you guys have been in it for a few years now, you're clicking a lot faster.
Yeah, you could tell a big difference, in our defense. Guys are really getting comfortable in, including myself. The coach always say, make the defense your own, get comfortable in it, and a lot of guys are communicating, and, it makes a big difference.
Seems like you can add a lot more to it, getting faster and into the plays.
Right, one of the things we coach and harp on every day, is being around the ball. No matter what's going on, where you at on the field, go to the ball. So on our defense, it shouldn't be one guy making the tackle. It should be everybody to the ball.
So you'll get real contact on Saturday. How much real contact do you get in a game against the Rams?
It's going to be a physical game, no doubt about it. It was a physical practice a couple years ago when they came here, and, we're expecting a physical game.
Now, the Cowboys have been scrambling as far as who will be the backup for Tony Romo, but when it comes to the running backs, is it possible they have too many? Of course, the answer is never. So who will carry the ball for Dallas this season? Will it be a rookie or a seasoned veteran? Let's find out.
I guess you can never have too many, but yeah, we're pretty stacked. We're pretty stacked, and we keep it fun in the room.
What's the camp been like so far for you here? You're going to go back to Dallas, but what's camp in Oxnard been like for you?
I've learned a lot. I thought I've progressed pretty well, just learning from the vets, as far as, patience in my runs, hitting the holes, pass pro. I've learned a lot, and I've had a lot of fun out here, but I'm definitely excited to get back to Dallas.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for a running back in training camp?
I'd say just the speed of the game, slow it down. Once you rep after rep, it starts to slow down, and you get in your groove.
What do you think you learn most from the veterans that have had a lot of experience?
Yeah, I'd say just staying calm, being yourself, not letting, camp get to, the grind of camp. So just stay focused, have fun, stay loose.
What was it like at the Coliseum with 90,000 fans screaming?
Oh, it was everything I imagined, Coming out there, the atmosphere was amazing, and it stayed that way the entire game. It was just everything I imagined.
You talk about the game slowing down. When you're in a real game situation like that, how, as far as mentally, what was your mental game like?
I was pretty clear with my thoughts, I was just excited to get that first hit out the way. Once you get that first hit, you settle in and you get a feel for the game. And so, yeah, I was excited about it, though.
And when we come back, it's down to Irvine to talk Rams football with head coach Jeff Fisher. You're watching Playing the Field. We are back, and so are the Los Angeles Rams. In fact, 90,000 fans came out to see their first preseason game against these Cowboys at the Coliseum. So what is head coach Jeff Fisher saying about the progression of his team? How was practice today, Coach?
Practice was good. I can't ever remember where we didn't have a good practice. There are some highlights in it, and there's some things we got to correct, but the two 2-minute drives that we had were extraordinary. Really, it's really fun once you get into that, and we'll be doing that quite often as we move through camp, just putting offense and defense in different situations. And it's not only good for players, but it's good for coaches because every scenario ends up being different. You can start with 1 minute 10 seconds and one timeout down by a touchdown, and you never know what you're going to end up with. So, but I thought the offense handled it really well. There were cerebral things that took place in both those drives.
And moving on to baseball, it has been 2 years since Tyler Skaggs has taken the mound for the Los Angeles Angels. He's had 2 years of rehab and Tommy John surgery, but he is back and better than ever. Here's my exclusive interview, the comeback story of the year of Tyler Skaggs.
No, don't pin this on Jeff.
Don't worry, I wouldn't do that. All right, we're here with Tyler Skaggs. Tyler, you spent 2 years rehabbing, getting back to where you are now, and I don't think a lot of people understand like what the process is. So take me back to 2 years ago and just sort of take me through the time and where you were when you first started.
Well, originally I was in Baltimore, and I had a no-hitter going, and I felt it on one pitch. I threw a changeup actually, and I felt kind of like a pop in my elbow. My hand went numb. And I knew instantly that it wasn't good, so I called the coaches out, and the rest is kind of history from there. I had the surgery, and then had the surgery of August 13th, 2014, and I came back, basically almost to the day, 2 years later. So it was a long road, a long process, especially this year. I know I had some ups and downs. I came into spring training this year ready to go, and my arm just wouldn't cooperate with me, so I had to go to Arizona for 2 months, kind of rehab and work my tail off to get back here.
When you first start with the rehab process after surgery, how long is it before you actually can get out there and either soft tossing or just do anything?
6 months. You got to get your range of motion back. You got to get your strength back before you can even throw a baseball, because throwing a baseball is unlike any other sport. It's a heavy object and it's a small object, so your arm it's a pretty violent motion. So
is it so difficult to not want to do too much because you feel like, okay, I'm starting to feel good again, and then you want to just jump back into it? I guess that might be one of the biggest challenges.
Of course, there's times where, oh man, my arm feels great, and you play catch and you're like, oh, I feel really good, and there's days where you play catch and you're like, I don't know if my arm's ever going to feel the same. So it's one of those things where it's a trials and tribulations, it's ups and downs, and it's one of those things where you got to stay mentally strong.
I was going to ask you that next. Is what do you do to fill your mind so that you stay on the right track?
I don't know. I did a lot of things. Try to read a lot of books, kind of just take my mind off baseball. Sometimes as a pitcher, all you think about is throwing a baseball. And there's times where you watch basketball, you watch football, you go play basketball. One of those things to take your mind off of just being a pitcher. You want to be an athlete first, pitcher second.
That's a very good point. When you are going through the rehab process, are you here? Are you in Arizona? How does that work?
So last year I was here up until the last month of the season. Then I went and threw actually some games in instructional league, which was really fun for me. And then I was actually, I live here. I live in Santa Monica, so for me this is my hometown. I did a bunch of rehab here with Bernard Lee, who actually works for the Angels. And then I came to spring training, and then everything was good. So I would say here in Arizona, kind of back and forth.
Is it good for you, or did you find the experience being around the team helpful?
Of course, being around the guys, just making everything simple for me. These guys have been great for me, especially when I threw my first few games back. Everybody made me feel like I never left. I took everything in stride, and I thank my teammates for that.
It's interesting because you get back on the mound. What goes through your head the very first game when you're back on the mound?
A lot of things.
Yeah.
It's almost too much to even explain. There's a lot of things going on in your mind, but first and foremost for me, I just wanted to go out there and throw strikes, and take it pitch by pitch, batter by batter, inning by inning. Don't look ahead, and I think I need to get back to that routine too.
How long does it take to kind of settle in, or how long did it take you the first time back on the mound?
I walked the first batter in my first 2 games back, so I think after the first batter I was fine, but I think I just need to get back to just taking it pitch by pitch.
So you're coming along now?
Yeah. Correct. I've made 5 starts, 2 good, 1 okay, and then 2 not so good. So, like I said, it's a tough prospect. This is a major league game. This is not spring training. You're not out there working on stuff. You need to go out there and get outs.
And then what is the off season like for you as far as work goes?
This year will be a lot less strenuous because I know that I'm healthy. I know that my arm's ready to go. Last year I did a lot of, physical therapy like for pretty much every day for 18 months straight. So I'll definitely take some time off, rest the body, and then come back and lift weights, try to get stronger, and come back next season.
I was going to ask, are you the kind of guy that really takes time away, has other interests, and just kind of tunes out for a little while?
100%. I go out there and I give it my all in the field, and then after the season, I'm usually mentally drained because I focus so hard on those days that I pitch. You only get 1 out of every 5, so I definitely take a month and a half off, and then I get back to work.
Football guy, basketball guy?
Football guy and basketball guy, honestly. I'm a huge Lakers fan, so I try to get to a lot of Lakers games, even though they haven't been very good. And then I play fantasy football, so I watch all the football on Sunday. So
Excited for Rams to be back?
I am. I'm a Vikings fan, but it looks like I got to become a Rams fan just because we finally have a team back in LA.
Well, former Dodger organist Nancy B. Heffley has been very busy on her retirement tour, catching up with all of her fans. We caught up with her at her second bobblehead appearance, and we caught up with a few other Dodger legends, too. Let's take a look. For somebody who's in retirement, you sure are popular here today.
It's a great event. Mark always puts on such a fantastic job, and he's been working night and day. And then I came in Tuesday and signed 1,000 bobbleheads.
Is your hand still working? I'm just checking.
I'm not quite sure.
So this bobblehead is very special because it actually plays your music. Now, where did you record it?
I recorded that at home. I did about 3 different versions so we could get the right length that would fit in the chip. And then I put it on, first I recorded it on the organ. From the organ I went to a CD. From the CD I went to MP3 and sent it off to Mark.
So for all the fans that want to know what you're doing now, tell us what you and Bill are doing in your retirement.
Bill and I are just kind of catching up with our house, getting things organized because we were in and out of it so much over the last
28 years?
Yes. And so we're kind of organizing things, and we put on a new backup generator so when the electricity goes off we have power, and we bought a little cabin, looks like a little big oversized playhouse that put all my sewing equipment in, and so
I guess after all these years, you're entitled to have a little downtime, Nancy, but you're very missed at the stadium, I can tell you that.
well, thank you, but it is really great to be able to take time and do what we want.
I'm sure that it is. And did you have any input into designing this bobblehead?
Oh yes, Mark always asks my opinion on it. I don't do a lot of changing on it, but
the first thing I noticed, of course, was the sweater. I said, "Oh, it's Nancy's sweater that she actually has," and he goes, "Yeah, we put it on the box."
I know it. They did a good job of that, I thought. Yeah.
All right, Mark, we are back here at Ultimate Pastime, your amazing business, and I have to say that every time we come back here, we cannot believe the things that you have collected over the years. What was your first item that you ever got?
The first, as a kid, I collected baseball cards, and I can't tell you the first item that I got, but I can remember buying packs of like 1985 tops, like at the gas station, the liquor store. I'd go, wash a car or something like that, and try to do some chores just to get, like, back in the day, packs were only 35 cents or 30 cents at the time. Now, they've kind of taken the kids out of the market. The cheapest pack of cards is probably about $3 now. So I don't know how these kids are collectors anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. The bobbleheads, I have never seen such a collection like this in a collectible store.
Well, we strive to bring, like, our customers stuff that is harder to get, stuff that they don't see every day. And the projects that we've been doing, and they've been working, and people really like it.
Let's talk about 2 of those projects, one being Nancy B. and one being Roger the Peanut Guy, who are here today. We did the little sneak peek at Dodger Stadium of the bobbleheads, but lines and lines of people out here waiting for these.
Yeah, the response has been overwhelming. This new Nancy that we did with the sound chip, people just love it. And how could you not love Nancy B? And Roger, legendary at the stadium, and we put him with throwing the peanuts behind his back, and it's just been a great hit. People like it.
Roger, this is your very first bobblehead. Tell me what you think about the design.
Oh, I loved it. Mark brought it. I've been waiting 3 or 4 months for it to come in. And when Mark opened up the first one in Ontario here at Ultimate Pastime Sports Collectibles, he said he went crazy. He runs out to the ballpark that night, and while in the 5th inning, he stops me right in the stands. He said, "Roger, it's here, take a look." And we pulled it out, and some of the fans and even one of the vendors that was walking up selling ice cream, he says, "Roger, you've been telling us about I want one too," No, it is more than I ever expected. But Mark, the owner here, put in so much to make sure the detail and the way that it was, because I've seen some bobbleheads, and sometimes they didn't even look like the person it's supposed to represent. But honestly, you can tell how much effort and time was put into this one to be a real likeness of me. And he decided to go old school with it when I was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson in 1976. And later on, I don't know how many years down the road, he said, we're going to come out with a different modern version and so on. But
You know, you've been so special at Dodger Stadium for so many, many years. Did you ever think you would be flipping peanuts after all these years?
oh, absolutely not. I'm the oldest of 9 children and come from an extremely humble, poor background. And my father asked me to go out and get a job selling soda pop at the Dodger games in the LA Coliseum, even before Dodger Stadium opened, because they played 4 years in the Coliseum while Dodger Stadium was being built. And we had to struggle every night for food on the table, clothes on our back. And my dad asked me, I was a baseball pitcher in high school, right down the street from the Coliseum, Manual Arts High School. It's been around over 100 years there. And I got a job selling soda to bring grocery money home to help out. And I never dreamed, I thought I'd do it maybe a couple of years. And all of a sudden, I worked my way up to chocolate, frozen chocolate malts, and then finally to peanuts, you know. And once I started pitching these bags behind the back, under the leg, 2 at a time, I became, which I've always wanted to be, an entertainer. And pretty soon I started getting fan mail. And before I knew it, I was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson for 20 minutes. It wasn't just shaking my hand.
What did he want you to do? Did you throw peanuts to him?
First, we interviewed him. He interviewed me. I'm sorry. And while talking to him, I felt like I was interviewing him too. But, you know, and I sat down on the couch and told him how long I'd been doing this, and the Dodgers had just given me the honor of throwing out the ceremonial first pitch that year. And it's the longest ceremonial first pitch. I threw it from the second deck at Dodger Stadium, and it had to travel over the second deck, over the first deck, over the backstop screen to Steve Yeager at home plate. And they took a picture of that, and they sent it to NBC, and they said, we have got to have Roger on the show, and he can talk to Johnny about what that meant to him throwing out that first pitch. Then he challenged me to go in the audience, and he said, I think I can keep up with you. And I said, well, we'll see about that. And so I put a Dodger cap on him, and I was putting it on his head, and I pulled it down too hard, and his ears were down like this, and he looked like a goon. And he says, Roger, you know, put it up a little bit. And anyway, he played off of me in the audience, and every one of mine were a strike, behind the back, under the leg, 2 at a time. And his were all way off, and we still had a lot of fun. And my life changed ever since that day with so many other shows, and other baseball teams invited me to their home park back on the East Coast. The Dallas Cowboys football has had me there 12 years in a row at Texas Stadium on Monday Night Football. And even my pictures on permanent display at Cooperstown in New York at the Baseball Hall of Fame Museum.
And is this your first time signing here at Mark's?
First time here, and I'm very impressed about this place. It's a beautiful place. This is a class place.
It really is. You know what? He does such a great job, and he really cares about everybody that comes in, whether you're a fan or you're a ball player.
See, the thing about him, he's a great human being. I treat everybody with respect. The way he likes to be treated as a human being.
What kind of things do people want you to sign when you sign?
They bring baseball and baseball card. The only thing they asked me to put, 81, 88 World Series champs.
Okay. So that's what they usually ask you.
That's what they ask the most.
What about bats or pictures, other things?
The same thing, in the picture and the bat, put the same thing. They want to remember the 1988, 1981, because they think about 2016 to bring back those memories and win this year.
That's right.
That's right.
That's true. Now, what about, I noticed that people bring pictures that they find. Are you ever amazed at the pictures that you see of yourself that maybe you haven't seen in a long time?
Some of those pictures they bring I never seen in my life. So when I saw those pictures, bring back great, great memories.
Where do people find them?
I don't know, but they find it.
And if you would like more information on Ultimate Pastime, you can go to their website at ultimatepastime.com. Now, coming up in September is a very special event hosted by one of our favorite former Dodgers, Jim Gott. Here's more from Jim and Kathy Gott on the event. First of all, is this your first time out here to Mark's place?
This is unbelievable. Yeah, my first time ever. I've heard about it, seen all of your the telecast, and I've also seen the stuff on Facebook, and it's unbelievable because I'm a collector. I'm a huge fan of the game, and it's wonderful to be here.
He does a great job. I don't know how he finds anything in here because there's so much stuff, but it's so fun to see it all.
It's great. This is not my first time here because Mark is so generous to the community, and I have picked up countless items that he's donated for our benefits for our foundation. He's so great.
And speaking of that, tell us about the benefit that is upcoming that we will be at.
Oh, thank you so much. We're really excited on September 24th. It's Saturday morning. Oral Hershiser is graciously donating his time to come out and meet and greet and Q&A and greet the fans. It's just a family fun day at San Marino High School. Tickets just went on sale today on our website, dannysfarm.org. And we hope to see there's going to be a lot of ball players coming out to support Oral and the farm, and we're very grateful.
It's so nice, Jim, that we always see the Dodger family come together for many events. They don't have to, but they're here anyway. Isn't it great?
And it has been great. And from the O'Malleys to the McCourts to our new ownership now, the Dodgers have always talked about community, and our fan base is our family. And that's the way that I've been taught ever since I was a kid, going to Dodger Stadium. And we used to see, say, Garvey Lopes out at our local fields and teaching and doing clinics. And then to be a part of it as a player, and now to be able to be a grandfather now watching these guys doing it. I'm not a grandfather yet, but almost. Yeah.
How long have I known you guys? Wait a minute.
At least a generation, yeah.
Yes, one of my middle twins they just told us about a week ago that they're pregnant. So
Congratulations. That's very exciting. All right. And then give us the location again and the time.
It's from 10 to 1, and a family fun event. Come in baseball gear, come ready to play.
And that's at
and
San Marino High School in San Marino off the 210 freeway. You come down Sierra Madre or San Gabriel Boulevard, and it's on Huntington Drive.
And this month, Clayton Kershaw and his wife Ellen hosted their annual ping pong tournament. It's to support their charity, Kershaw's Challenge. Now, last year's winner is a familiar face at Dodger Stadium, but somebody you might not know is a ping pong expert. Time to meet Richard Wright. Okay, so last year you're in the tournament here at Dodger Stadium, and I'm sure people were amazed. Here you are, you work here at the stadium, you work for the city, and here you come up and you're blowing everybody away.
I shocked all the players, the executives, fans that were there. They were amazed to see me doing something other than working in my regular job here at Dodger Stadium.
I'm sure. And then how many people did you play in that tournament? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we had approximately 4 matches in order to get to the finals. None of the matches were easy, but we prevailed.
Okay. And did any of the ball players ask you for any tips?
Yes. I've been working with Jerry Harrison Jr. Okay. He's a very good athlete by no means. And I give him a few stroke tips. Okay. I've seen Turner. He's a very good player, a very good concentration. And these guys have the tenacity, and they have the will to win.
Yes, it's true. What do you think is the biggest thing to tell somebody else? You were talking about the drills. What kind of things do you need to learn to be a really good table tennis player?
One of the things is really watching the ball. You have to really concentrate. The ball is much smaller than any other ball that you're going to play with in sports, and it moves at times over 100 miles an hour. I'm able to read the spin on the ball based on this stroke that somebody might impart on the ball. I am very anxious to see the competition and to be part of this great charitable event. Individuals there, nobody's coming there to lose. No. So you have to be on your game, and the games now are up to 11. Then we're not playing up to 21, so you can't get far behind in any of your matches and expect to win.
You're going to be competing with some of the very best athletes in the world out there.
Oh, absolutely. Last year, there was Blake Griffin, There were a few of the Laker players. And again, any professional athlete has a very tenacity to want to win and want to be the best. And I know players are coming back this year with a lot more experience and a lot more desire to win this event. I played table tennis as a young kid at 12 years old. But my beginning is goes further back. I have 4 older brothers that were very good, and they would beat me. And my desire was later that I'd be the best table tennis player I could be.
Okay, so what's the trick? It must be a lot of practicing. Give me a tip of something maybe you learned how to do.
A lot of drills. I've had some of the best coaching in the United States as a young kid coming up. The captain of the United States world team that went to China in '71 was my personal coach. So I've been very fortunate to get that kind of instruction.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Show us your award from last year, if you would. And this year, Richard came in second in the event, and word around the Dodger clubhouse is that all the players are asking Richard for ping pong lessons. Pretty cool. All right, coming up next is our new segment, the Playing the Field Extra Sports Update. We'll be right back. It's time for your Playing the Field Sports Update. I'm Maria Serrao. Now, the Lakers will look very different this season without Kobe Bryant and with the arrival of Timothy Mozgov and Luol Deng. But the coaching staff will be very familiar to Laker fans when they see head coach Luke Walton, assistant coaches Brian Shaw and Mark Madsen sitting on the bench. So what will it be like for these former Lakers to work together again? For the Clippers, they're giving it another go with Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Jordan, and making sure that Austin Rivers and Jamal Crawford are staying put as well by giving them long-term contracts. Now, Rivers more than proved himself last year during the playoff run when Chris Paul was injured. And as for Jamal Crawford, well, he was awarded the Sixth Man of the Year for the 3rd time, and he says he's happy to be staying a Clipper. And finally, in a few short weeks, the IndyCar season will come to an end, and it's no surprise to anyone that the top 3 drivers in contention for the championship are Penske, also known as Simon Pagenaud, Will Power, and Helio Castroneves. And since the last race is double points, it's really going to come down to the finale in Sonoma to see who will be crowned a champion. And I'll be there with all the action. And that will do it for today's show. Thank you so much for watching from Dallas Cowboy Training Camp. And remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. I'm Maria Serrao, and we'll see you next time.
Not a big goal.